All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, very excited to be leading into the inaugural BKFC strawweight championship fight. It goes down at BKFC 29, and it happens on September the 10th. We have Hart and Fani Peloumpi knuckling up and towing the line, and happy to have Fani on the show. How's your day going so far there?
My day training, morning training, relax, and after training again.
Yeah, I imagine you're quite excited for sure, and I mean, quite a ride with. When did you hear about this opportunity coming your way? Because obviously you're the BKFC Thailand champion. When did you, I guess, hear that this opportunity for their world title would be coming up? Like, when did this opportunity come your way?
I am really excited about this fighting, and this is very good opportunity for me, really. Yes, I wait the time to be there and go in the ring for fight.
Yeah, and you're very experienced in combat sports, a lot of Muay Thai experience from what I was seeing, but also boxing and some kickboxing in there. How did bare knuckle, how is that different from some of the other combat sports you've been in?
Look, in Muay Thai I will have punch also, so yeah, it's not... Just the style is different. Just I have to think and I have to delete everything what I know if, in my time, like elbow, knee, and kicks and whatever. But we have punch also, so it's not so much difficult.
Yeah, I would feel like the strong Muay Thai base that you have would be good for something like BKFC because there's a lot of the, clinch positioning in it and stuff like that. I mean, you've only had the one fight, but have you found the clinch positioning was like a pretty, big deal in the first fight you had there with Souris Manfredi?
Yes, we have clinching also. Muay Thai make you strong, so everything after, I think everything you can fight after.
Yeah, and I'm kind of wondering if you're, training in like similar spaces. Like, are you working at the usual kind of gym you get in work at there? Are you getting in work at, Blue Dragon and everything like that?
This is my gym in Greece. Now I am in MTA in Thailand. I live in Thailand now.
Okay, where's the gym you're getting in work at there then?
Now I am in MTA Academy in Thailand.
I was going to say...
It's my gym in Greece.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm wondering like who you're like regularly working with there though. Do you have like any core sparring partners you get in work with, or just the nature of a gym like that, probably fresh people to spar like every day kind of thing? Do you have core people you work with?
Now I have like many fighters in the gym, so I can sparring with everyone. Yeah, I don't have just one partner.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that you like have the, opportunity to like teach people Muay Thai and that you do certain coaching like that. How do you feel that like, I guess, builds on your own skills? I've heard from a lot of martial artists that teaching informs their own understanding of, executing the technique more. Do you find that's the case? Like, do you find teaching sharpens your skills too?
I like teaching also. I like teaching only Muay Thai because this is what I do for more than 20 years. So yes, I like teaching. I like to give to the people what I know.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. Do you have like any like first experience seeing martial arts and realizing that you wanted to be part of it? Like, was there like an early kind of moment like that for you?
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Oh, no, it's okay. Just, like, if there was, like, because you've obviously been in martial arts so long, was there, like, an early moment that inspired you to want to get into the martial arts?
I do Muay Thai Boran. I don't know if you know what is Muay Thai Boran. It's the traditional Muay Thai. It's like no fighting in the ring. It's, can say, like, street fight. Like, you can, like, how to say, like, we have like crab and traditional fighting, like it's martial art, original martial art, and I like to teach.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how much you, I guess, study opponents and stuff like that. Like, are you checking out previous fights that Hart has had and trying to get a strategy going from that, or do you kind of go into the fights just like looking to show your own skills and hone your own skills heading into it?
Yeah, I'm not standing too much. So I just see when my manager told me I would fight with her, I watched some fighting of her just to see her style in the beginning and see who she is. And that's it. But I see many times bare knuckle fight from other fighters. I like to see, example, Christine Ferreira. I like her, so yeah, I see her many times and many other fighters. So just to show the style of this fighting. But I do what I will try to do in my fighting, what I'm training.
Yeah, I mean, just one of the more like high-profile kind of opponents you could be fighting there. So I guess I just thought to ask. I didn't know how much you were like following the other fighters on the BKFC circuit there, because yeah, a win here would be over one of the more, I guess, experienced opponents on the circuit. I guess I didn't know if you'd seen previous fights of Britain Hart's or not.
I don't know. I don't really watch what she do because I don't care what she do. Just look myself.
Yeah, for sure. And as far as like the, I guess, preparations for bare knuckle, because I find it a little curious talking to certain fighters, because it's a very hard thing to really prepare for in a certain sense. Like the sparring dynamics a little different just because of like how many cuts can potentially pop up from that. So how do you go about like preparing for like a bare knuckle fight? Like what does the camp kind of look like?
Just I stop training Muay Thai, just this, and sometimes I don't have gloves, so I have to punch without gloves and avoid also. But it's the most is like stop Muay Thai for 1 month now, just training only boxing.
Yeah, and I had noticed you had fought in Muay Thai even just earlier this calendar year. Is like the plan to kind of split time between Muay Thai and bare knuckle, or if you get your ideal outcome here and become a champion, maybe bare knuckle becomes the main focus? Like, what are you thinking in that sense?
We'll see. I don't know really. We'll see if I win. First, I have to win this fight, and after we'll see what happens.
Yeah, a lot of different moving parts going into it for sure and everything like that. But yeah, I love the experience you have in Muay Thai and everything like that. Just face some very high level opponents there. So I imagine that's exciting for you. Like you fought names that are very familiar to someone who follows Muay Thai like myself, like Anissa Mexon and Iman Barlow. Like how much do you enjoy getting to, I guess, have these kind of tests, like just as a means of showcasing your own skills? Because you've definitely been in there with some, big fighters.
Look, I have fight in Muay Thai. I have fight many times with very strong opponent and in very big event. I have long time experience, so this make me to when I go into the ring, I feel more comfortable.
Yeah, I was reading an article from Vice, I believe it was, and it was talking about how there was a lot of fanfare around your fight with Nong Am and how you both were bringing in some like big bonuses and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of big fights you've had, it seems like.
You know Nong Am?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah, she's a very good fighter and a very good person also.
Yeah, and that seems to be a quality that you get across as well. I was seeing another interview where it was talking about just how you were one of the more experienced fighters on that circuit, but you just had a very kind, like approachable sort of demeanor. Like, is that important for you to have that, like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, fighters, because fighters, we have to understand each other because we do the same things. Every fighters have like tired, hard training, lose weight, all this. So we have to respect each other because we do the same thing. So we know what happened.
Yeah, that's a very nice way to look at it. I feel like it also fits just like the martial arts kind of spirit of it all, just like that sort of like approachable demeanor with it. Do you kind of look at yourself in that kind of perspective? Like I feel like fighters either look at themselves as like either fighters or more of like that martial artist. Do you seem like a martial artist, like dedicated to it on a day-to-day kind of basis?
Exactly.
yeah, you love to see that for sure and everything like that. And yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on and giving some insights before this fight. I think this is a awesome fight and a lot of cool stakes attached to it. Would there be a certain importance to you to be that first champion in the division, just being that this is establishing the first BKFC strawweight champion? Would it be important to kind of have your name in the history books, as it were?
Yes, this for me. If I win this fight, it will be really. I think will be very good because I am long time in fighting, in martial arts, in sport, and being now in America in this big fight is something very good for me because for a long time I do this, I don't know how to say in English, but yes, it's I feel like growing after so many years, growing up.
Yeah, you touched on something interesting there, though. Is this one of the first times you've competed in America? Because a lot of your experience being in Thailand and everything like that, and you've got a lot of Muay Thai championship accolades. Is it going to be a bit of a new kind of experience fighting in America? Is it a little different?
Yes, it's one more experience for me. I haven't been before in America. The most I fight in Thailand. My style is Muay Thai. But yes, in America it's my first time and big challenge for me, experience and opportunity.
Yeah, I guess I just had one last question here because I feel like in Muay Thai, sometimes the traditional Thai style is kind of collecting the information and settling in more as the fight kind of goes longer, whereas it seems like bare knuckle is kind of just dive right into it, go kind of full throttle with it. Have you sort of noticed a different mentality between the bare knuckle and the Muay Thai, or is it kind of just the same sort of approach and I guess temperament that you would have? Do you approach both of those sports the same, or is there that kind of dynamic I'm talking about where they're a little bit different?
What I say when people ask me in the gym is of course need to training for this fighting, but for me, not only this fighting, every fighting, if you're not strong, your heart is not strong and your mind is not strong, you cannot fight in any fight. If you have this and this strong everything it's not only training, it's not only muscle.
Yeah, that's a good thought to put out there. I get what you're saying in that sense. You've been really good with your time, though, coming on the show, and I do appreciate it. I'm just wondering, though, if maybe there's anything you might want to add as a parting thought, maybe something we haven't touched on. Is there anything you might want to put out there as we're kind of wrapping up, Fani?
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. It was a great time, and I'm really excited to...
Sorry for my English, this is still not good.
No, your English is quite good, actually. I mean, I had an easy enough time talking to you, so yeah, no worries at all. I definitely understood what you were getting across, and I really appreciate you making some time. You've done a lot of interesting stuff in martial arts.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dylan.
All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual set to compete at BKFC 29, the strawweight championship. Going to be on the line, and that goes September the 10th. Fani Peloumpi comes over, BKFC Thailand champion, vying for the world title against Hart, and happy to be talking to Britain on today's show. How's the training going into this one? Seems like great work had as always there.
Yeah, it's going really good. Kind of the reason why I was in this little turmoil spot between, is it greener on the other side? I moved back to Virginia, and then I got the phone call for the title, and I was like, oh no, I got to go to Miami. Because I know that there's some females out here that are just top elite level, and I actually didn't get the chance to work with them for the Beck fight due to so many emotional and personal things going on. So it was always kind of my dream to work with these elite level girls. And so coming down here, I was really hoping that's what I would do, and it is. It's turned into, not only the IQ and great training partners and the knowledge I'm gaining from them, but just true admiration, motivation, and friendship. So with that, I feel not every day I'm I gotta go to training. I gotta go train again. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait. I'm excited. Like, I worked out today, 10 to 12, and then I get to go work out again, 5 to 7 with my friend Pinky, who's Pink Tyson. And so, it just keeps me super happy. I'm super energetic, and I just feel like this training camp has been one of the best ones.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to touch on, the Kalia Coroni work there, just with her making her bare knuckle debut relatively recently, but an experienced individual in the boxing space too, before that BYB kind of crossover there. So yeah, I'd imagine that would be one of many good people you've been recently working with.
Yeah, she's incredible. I mean, some of these girls are so rare to find. They're like wholesome, real, and work hard, and not worried about all the other like smoke screen. They stay true to what they know. It's definitely one of those. It gives inspiration that way to just always be proud to be who you are, and to be yourself. And I love that about her as well. She's one of the toughest girls I know, and I think I'm pretty tough. So for me to idolize someone for being, tougher than me is pretty cool. But she's very tough, and I felt also like the internal reward of giving because she's better in boxing, more experienced, bigger name. But it was her first bare knuckle fight. So for me to kind of help her get through those fears and anxiety of her first bare knuckle fight, it just made me feel so empowered myself and like I was giving. And it's kind of like that pay it forward, when you take so much and you're used to taking, when you can give, I really feel like it makes a special positive energy to come your way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just like the whole, galvanizing each other's skills kind of thing is amazing. And it seems like some great past work has been had with, people like Lorenzo Hunt and Elvin Brito over in Puerto Rico there. So, yeah, I mean, it seems like you've got a collective together that has like the highest level of skill, but also, from what I can tell, the highest fight IQ in the sport. When did you really start realizing that kind of collective was in place there?
I think it was like after really the first bare knuckle fight I had against Beck, a lot of people have messaged me, a lot of people gave me their feedback, and the number one thing was, if you would have had a solid team behind you, if you had solid training partners, you would have won that hands down easy. If not, you really did win, you just got robbed. But to make it very convincing, you need a team behind you. And once I heard that, I was like on this basically forever just like journey and conquest of knowledge and teams and good sparring partners, good people that are in the industry. And it's really been working for me, and it's really, really great. And I love all those people, I wish it's the only sad part is you want to be around them all the time, and sometimes you can't. But it is good, like, for example, if I was fighting a southpaw. Now I have somebody that I know is southpaw and I can go to and help. If I'm fighting someone who's very unorthodox and has a different background, Elvin out in Puerto Rico is killer training for that. So it's just kind of about game plans and formulating based on when, where, what the scope of the fight is. But I just know I have so many people that are great and that have given to me. So I almost feel like I have to win this belt for them because I have so many different pieces of me that might be Pink Tyson, that might be Elvin, that are Joey, that are Marcus Luck in Virginia, that is Coach Haas out in California, that's Maureen. I have all these little pieces that I kind of try to soak up, and then I'm like the sponge that goes out and emulates, the great things that I learned from these people.
Yeah, I think the Joey shout out kind of crystallizes it too, just with you talking about like having the great like special connections and then getting great work with high level individuals. I think he is really emblematic of that, just being like the former, heavyweight champion, defending the belt and everything, and kind of you guys being the bare knuckle power couple and all of that. He's been on my show a few times, so we've kind of talked about that, and he's like, oh yeah, shout out Nate Shook for, having Britt and Hart set up next to me ringside during one of the fights there and everything like that. Can you kind of speak to that whole dynamic? It seems like you guys have had a great relationship kind of from the jump there. I would think that would be hugely beneficial, like personal and professional.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those great things. Again, I've seen it kind of all of camp is when you're not looking for something is really when you find it, I was kind of over the whole relationship thing. I really wanted to be married to the game and to the fight life, and knew that it was going to be kind of a lonely, rough road. So really, BKFC's given me my dream, not by fighting, but by sitting me next to Joey, because he isn't, I don't have a lonely life. I have someone who's a fighter, who's well respected, who's very knowledgeable, who's very smart, who has a great personality. I have all that, and he's right next to me. So I never feel alone. And, things aren't as easy as sometimes we make them or it appears. But I have somebody, I don't have to vent or showcase that to the world, because I have someone who's going through it with me, when I'm cutting weight or tired because I'm at 3 practices a day. I have someone who's running around going to these practices with me, so they know how it is. But Joey, is just always, it's such an amazing experience with him to have him, and in different crossroads in our life, where he's had so much experience, and really mine really just started with that Paige Van Zandt fight. But yeah, it was true love. It really was, because when we sat next to each other, we had no idea who each other was, really. Just on paper. And we went out and we talked before the fight. We came back. We were like best friends. We laughed and joked the whole entire time, and pretend that we were commentators. So Kristen Wheelock, you better watch out. But
yeah, right.
No, we had so much fun, and then after that, we stayed in touch. We stayed, he came and visited me while I was training in California. And then when he made this crazy move to Miami, it was, it was one of those things, sometimes you have to jump, and, like he says, you grow wings on the way down. And man, we did, and those wings are amazing. Like, once you find your wings, I feel like life, no matter how hard or lonely or stressed out it gets, when you have those wings and that feeling, it just really helps. Nothing can really get you down.
Yeah, it's an amazing dynamic to hear there, and it seemed like he came through with the Louis Vuitton bag recently, and you're rocking the NWO shirt, so they're a good balance in the relationship, it seems like.
Yes. Oh my God, it's such a funny story about that too, and not that it's anything bad, but I had a manager before, and he was like, if you beat Paige, I'm going to buy you something really special. What do you want? And I was like, oh my gosh, it's always been my dream to have a Louis Vuitton suitcase. He's like, done. If you beat her, I'll get it for you. And then he messaged me a little bit, like a couple hours later. He said, holy shit, never mind. I'm super sorry. I cannot get you that. I was like, no hard feelings. I get it, But I told Joey this story way back, and it was so funny. He remembered, like, how great is that? Like, just, like, shout out to best husband in the world. And husbands that are listening, pay attention to your wives, because when you do things like that, it's like you're the hero in God, and you're rewarded as such. So anyways, but yeah, Joey remembered that story and bought it for me. It was just, our life is super cool. Like, we can go from living and busting out in a trailer to like staying in penthouse suite. It doesn't matter. Like, again, we're together, and we could care less. We love it.
Yeah, it seems like you guys get up to some cool stuff too. Like, there's like some awesome like family bonding stuff. It seems like obviously a tight dynamic there with your daughter and everything like that. But it seemed like you got out with the Southland bounty hunters there. That would seem like a pretty fun thing to do. You were saying it was one of the craziest things in the Instagram caption there, at least.
Yeah, it definitely was. Once again, just living your life of dreams. I said I always wanted to be on like a reality TV show. I really wanted to be Survivor, but whatever. Anyways, reality TV, one of my things. And, when we got the call for it, I was like, oh my God, please. And Joey was like, I don't know if it's a good idea. It's a week before your fight. What if we get hurt? What if they tase us? And I'm like, no, we have to do it. Let's go. This is our chance. And it was kind of like, I am on the way over there. I felt really bad because Joey was really nervous. And I was like, man, maybe this is a bad idea. What if we do get hurt? What if, something bad comes against us? And we went and did it. It was like, sorry, there's a plane. Classic Miami. But we went over there. It was only like an hour or so. After it is just like how my energy is right now. We were like, ear to ear. My cheekbones were broken from smiling. We were like, oh my God, it was so funny when we did this. We took a group picture together. I mean, we were pumped. There were like so many cool inside funny stories from that experience. You know, it was just awesome. And Joey, really honestly, was the highlight of it because his face after was just like, you know, it's funny because it's like we're arrested and looks pretty bad on a cliff, but you know, he was so happy, like super happy and pumped, like sheer happiness and joy and like kind of a bit of an adrenaline rush. So super cool experience that we share together.
Yeah, I love the insights on that there, and it seems like a cool thing because as much as you've had a lot of great successes personally and professionally, I mean, getting ready to fight for a title in a separate weight division and BKFC, it seems like you've always kept to that, like, I guess, like, ethos you had, like, back in the early days of fighting, like, even when you were, like, you know, sleeping out of your car and you had the Planet Fitness membership and stuff like that. Like, how do you, I guess, like, stay true to, like, that kind of, like, spirits? Because I think, like, the old adage in combat sports is, like, if you get, like, too comfortable in your success, it can have, like, depreciating returns on kind of what you're doing in the ring. But it seems like you always kind of held true to that. Like, what do you credit for, I guess, like, that level of being grounded, I suppose would be the way to phrase it?
Yeah, absolutely. I just remember when I started off and I was sleeping out of my car, I had all these people in the gym that I think I've said in an interview before. You know, they're like, I felt like that was where I belonged because it was like we were all kind of broken. We had that brokenness and we found healing in the gym. And I have a lot of really amazing personal relationships with those people, and I still do. I still talk to them today and am excited to see them. But I remember them saying, you know, don't ever change when you get too big on us. And I was like, I'm not, you know, and they're like, no, you're going to be a star one day, but don't forget us. And I just remember that. And I just always like, I got this book and I read it and really, I felt like changed my life around. But one of them was, it's called the 4 Agreements, but it's said to be impeccable with your word. So I said that, and I've said it more than once. So I just felt like something I really had to hold like true. And I feel like that's why I serve this position, because it's not about the shortcuts or being silver spoon fed. It's about hard work and the sacrifice and what it took to get there, you know, not having all the resources at your fingertips. So it would be, I think, hard for me in my identity to have all these resources and let them go. So that's why you see I try to travel a lot. I try to, we don't stay up in, like I said, awesome, fancy luxury hotels. We kind of stay out in the hood. And I like that. It keeps me true and honest. We go to local stores. We don't go to big stores. I really love that, too, about what we do right now. Like, instead of going to Walmart or Target, we go to these little, Cuban marketplaces and buy, fruits and vegetables and whatever we need and support that. So little ways giving back. And Joey's way better at it than me, too. I think he kind of feels something about me that is I can give to him. And anytime someone asks for money or something like that, we definitely give it to them and know that remembering and flashbacking to when I was sleeping in my car, and then it's hard. And I really just try to give advice because I do have the essence of getting taken advantage of. Because, people, you give them $100 and next week they ask you for another $100 and it just never really changed. So it's really just trying to be inspiring by showing your success and showing what hard work looks like. So taking kind of long-winded answer, when I go back home, I go back to those same gyms and I treat everybody the same. It's not even better, because I'm able to, and I'm so happy because they were the ones that motivated me to do that. Shout out to one guy back from my home gym, Russ. He's starting his own juice company now. And we know how it is when you start off in the beginning, whether it's your fighting career or your business. It's hard in the beginning, and I can recognize that. And so I see his juice business, and we bought 20. We give them money, and they're kind of expensive to get that cold pressed juice. But we bought 20, and they were great. They were amazing and worth every dollar of it. So delicious. And so I love that I can do that with, the people that built me. Again, another great thing. Shout out to Mariah. I remember I needed gas money when I was out of my car. And she sent me $20, and that $20 got me, what I needed to do that day or week or whatever the situation was. But she just messaged me not too long ago. She's having a BJJ tournament and needs some money for it. And she was like, I'm almost to my goal. I'm like, well, what's your goal? And she's like, 150. I'm like, well, how much do you need for that? She says, 45. Bump, done deal. There you go. There's your $45, because I remember what that was like, and she did it to me. So it's helping, it's going forward. And if we could just learn that and do that, I think it really keeps us honest to our roots. And it feels like really empowering. And now look, all these good things are coming my way that I haven't almost even worked for. They just come my way. And I feel like it's because I worked so hard in the beginning to get where I was, and now that I'm here, I'm not forgetting about it, and I'm keeping honest to it. Real quick, and then I'll stop talking. Super funny story. So we have to go and do this meet and greet at an exotic car show. I have a 2004 Chevy Trailblazer, and it gets me from A to B, and we can buy a new car if we wanted to, but why, when I have this badass Chevy Trailblazer that goes through like any pothole you need to? And we go to this exotic car meet and greet, and they're like, yeah, we'll give you VIP parking, not knowing that VIP parking is in front of basically the exotic car show. So me and Joey pull up, and there's everyone guiding traffic. There's people walking in. There's Ferraris, Lambos, Aston Martins, you name it, everywhere. And we're rolling in with this muddy, beat up, like severely beat up, but very mechanically sound Chevy Trailblazer. And it was like, if you could hear a pin drop, it was one of those moments. And we just cruised up into our VIP spot. We got out, walked around, had an epic time there. Everyone treated us so good. They loved seeing us. We met some new friends. And, life is great that way.
That's so funny. I love the dynamic there. And, yeah, that would have been quite a scene, I would imagine, there. But you kind of talk about like taking the long road and like working hard and just everything kind of manifesting at a later point. I would think that the last fight would have been especially satisfying, just with Beck Rawlings previously getting that victory over you. And obviously, like, people were saying that was like a close fight and that they even thought you won the fight. But was there a level of satisfaction and redemption from that last one especially?
I keep using this word because it is. I say it kind of tragic because it really wasn't hyped up and, really what it meant, which is exactly what you just said. It was like true, like the best redemption, clean slate. If you can go back and redo it, super tough opponent. We obviously have beef. It was all that. But to be honest with you, I was really just focused. Like, I couldn't even think about that. There were so many, like, unfortunate personal things. I was like, man, it's just me fighting me in the ring. I didn't look at it as revenge or a rematch or a big step up. I truly didn't. And I wish I did, because I feel like it would have, said more to people out there and been a very triumph victory. But it really was just me fighting me. What I guess translates to be a better lesson. Like, who cares who we're fighting? Who cares who we're revenging? Who cares that the get back to the people that really hurt you in the past? Like, you're just fighting yourself. And that's how I looked at that fight, because I did not think, entirely that I had so much composure, and I was so happy to stick to that game plan and be so conscious in the ring, but yet doing things and listening. I really pride myself on that. As being a fighter, it's very important that you listen to your coaches and corners and are able to act in the moment, because it's a very hard, tough skill to be able to do. And, with everything going on, it was just, and not only that, it seems I get roughed up in some fights. I've come out with some stitches. I lost a tooth, which is just the worst thing ever, to lose your damn tooth. But to come out of that fight, like, with not a cut, scratch, bruise, anything on me, I think that was like, I didn't even care that I beat Beck. Like, I came out of there untouched. Seriously, the next day I could, my right hand was a little bruised, but I can still punch things. If I wanted to spar and you wanted to hit me in the face, it wouldn't affect me. That was like really the true victory for me personally.
Yeah, I love the personal journey part of it, and I think that speaks to the fight IQ kind of dynamic that we were talking about before. But you mentioned like the game plan, and it seemed like Brian Perez was pretty big in the game plan the last time out, and like not obviously giving away specifics of the game plan, but I would think that facing someone like Peloumpi in this upcoming fight would be a tad different than say a Beck Rawlings, just like with there being like more of a Muay Thai focus and this upcoming opponent like that being the bulk of their experience as compared to an MMA fighter. So is the game planning like a fair bit differently? Do you kind of like personalize it opponent to opponent, or is it more focused on your individual kind of refinement?
It's definitely focused opponent to opponent, and I think that my past fights can kind of prove that. Like, you've always seen a different style because I've always kind of faced a different type of opponent. I've faced southpaw, shorter, taller, bigger, UFC, MMA, boxing. I've faced it all, and I definitely think having the right game plan for that situation is very important. It makes it more like we're playing chess, which I feel like some of the fans really like. They like the intelligent, the skill, the strategic part in it, and instead of like checkers, which is like the fans that just love the rock and sock'em robots, which is fun and exciting too. There's definitely two realms of it. It just depends which one you prefer. So as I move up on this, I really love it being the sport of chess. I love that. So if I can figure out the best game plan to beat you, that's what I'm going to go with. Even though I do like my style, I love my style, and I love my style being a brawler and a tad reckless. Like, to me, that's easy. I can do that any day. Where it becomes a challenge is like where people like we're saying, like, for me to stay there to stick and move is such an awesome demonstration of what I'm capable of, because that was part of what Ryan, the game plan was like, don't stand there. I know you're going to want to. Don't stand there and blah, 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 and clinch. Let it go. And that is really hard to do when you're just, an emotional brawler. And with this fight coming up, I think it's a little bit different. And maybe probably like, I don't know how to say, like, my biggest like worry or concern right now is because I feel so conflicted, because you have some people that think that she kind of like resembles Beck, and if not so better than Beck. And then there's other people that are like, no, like way totally different fighter. And so for me, it's, well, if she's just like Beck, then I already, executed an amazing game plan to beat Beck. Why wouldn't we just stick with the same game plan? But if she's a different fighter, like this, the group, it's got to be a very different game plan. And so I think that goes back to like where I'm at and speaks volumes to who I'm with. I obviously trusted him with his game plan, so I trust him with this game plan 100%. And I just have to listen. I love it. I love that his Instagram name is like the BK cheat code, and it's like I feel like that. Hey, I'm just the character going into this ring, and whatever you say, X triangle, R2 trigger boom. That's
Yeah, he's hooking you up with the Contra code for this one, or like the GTA cheat codes to maybe more personalize it to a modern audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, I love hearing that, and I love like hearing you talk about like the, I guess, like fight IQ kind of aspect of the whole thing, and like the chess versus checkers kind of comparison, because I really do feel like the discussion around the sport is going in that direction. I think at first it was more oriented to like just big, crazy, explosive kind of spectacle, but I think it's more settling into like people kind of thoughtfully like picking it apart more so now. It seems like you've kind of noticed that as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it goes to like there's a lot of evidence for it if you really do your film study and look back on it.
Oh yeah.
It's simple and natural to see these debuters have these exciting, epic fights. As you see the fighters going there more and more, you see a difference, and it's because it's bare knuckle. People aren't realizing that. Like, and I hate that us as fighters, we get so much criticism and negative feedback, because it's like, man, check this out. We've learned, unless you want to go in there and bang it out. There's some things like, it's not a tough man's game as far as longevity. It's a smart man's game. And when you learn that, I think, like Connor Tierney was a great example of being super smart, but also very entertaining. And then you have, like the Artem and Jason reference is perfect. Their first fight, oh my God, it was like literally I've never seen a better fight in my life. It was so crazy. The second time they fought, you know, if you're looking at skill and if you're a fighter in the combat world, it's still a very good fight. But if you're a fan, it was way slowed down and way different. One, they had the respect, the mutual respect there, and two, they've done it before. And you know, we have to go home. At the end of the day, we have to go home and sit in bed and have lumps and bruises and stitches and broken hands. And so, you know, we want to do the best by giving you entertaining fights with head movement, not being there, slick, nice footwork, good setup shots. We want to give you that aspect where, you know, the other aspect, and not that it's wrong, is just like, man, guns a-blazing, I'm going to bang it out, and you guys are going to see what a true warrior I am. And, you know, you saw that in my Christine fight, which wasn't too long ago in February. You know, like, you just have to pick and choose when those moments have to come. And, you know, as long as you stay in there and, you know, give it your best honest try and don't quit, I think, you know, we are all in there to learn and get better and involved.
Yeah, I love that kind of mindset with it, and I do appreciate the insights and the time that you've given me, but I do want to be mindful of the rest of your schedule too, Britt, and so to that point, is there maybe anything you might want to like add as a parting thought as we're kind of wrapping up here?
You know, I think I've said it all, you know, my journey, you know, thank you for touching base on like kind of past, present, and future. So I'm super happy to be here. I never, you know, expected that it would be this soon. I knew one day I would, but to have it happen fast, it really, you know, the proof is in the pudding. I really believe in the hard work and the good things that I've done and the people I've surrounded myself around. I mean, really huge shout out, because I could not have done it without them. But to everyone watching and listening, even though I could not do it without these people, it takes me showing up and me putting myself in their presence to be able to make it all happen. And so, you know, I could just really strongly urge, if you're around bad people or people that aren't going to propel you forward, you know, go find them and go search for them, because, man, it's just made a difference in my life. They've truly changed my life. So thank you for that. And I really can't wait to put on an awesome main event, a title shot for, again, history, the first 115 unified belt of BKFC. I'm definitely, like always, going in there, laying it all on the line. So I hope you guys like what you see, and it's going to be exciting.
It truly will be, and people can check that out on September the 10th there, and just, yeah, really excited to peep that myself, and appreciate you coming on the show and giving some great insights, Britton. You enjoy the rest of your day, and also looking forward to checking out the fight when it goes down.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate you. You guys have a great weekend.